In this topic we're going to talk about conic sections, and conic actually means the sections from a cone. So if we look at these 4 examples here, there are actually 4 different conic sections that we're going to look at, and they're the curves that derive from taking sections from a cone. So if we slice across a cone at an angle here, we come up with the parabola. We can see that familiar parabola that we recognise. We can also see a circle. If we go horizontally across, then with a cross section is going to make a circle. Here, if we go at an angle, it's going to form an ellipse, which is like a squashed circle. And here is a hyperbola. So we're cutting here, and then we're cutting around here. Now, when we see them again, normally we see our parabola. We're used to seeing our parabola be like this way round, but actually in this case we're looking at it going to be on the other axis. So our parabola will look like this, at an angle like this. Our circle, our basic circle will have a centre 0, 0, and will look like this. And this is where we're going to start today, looking at the particular conic section that is a circle. Now, on our formula sheet, we will have the formulas for the 4 different conic sections. So we'll have the formulas for a circle, a parabola, ellipse, and a hyperbola. So today we're going to concentrate on this particular formula, the formula for a circle. And we can see, in its simplest form, it is just x squared plus y squared equals r squared, where r is the radius of the circle. So if we're looking at this particular circle, this circle has a centre at 0, 0, and the radius we can see most clearly from where it cuts the x and y axis if we go across to 3. So the radius of this circle is equal to 3, and the centre is at 0, 0. So if we're now going to write the equation, it would be x squared plus y squared equals radius squared, so it would be 3 squared. So x squared plus y squared equals 9. At this example, we have another circle, but this time the centre of the circle is not at 0, 0. If we can locate the centre of the circle, the centre is at x equals 1 and y equals negative 3. So the centre is at 1, negative 3, and we can call that A, B, which is in line with what's on the formula sheet, centre AB. Let's just check out the radius. The radius, it's easier to go vertically or horizontally. 1, 2, 3. If we go up 3, the radius is 3. And now we can actually write the equation of that circle by referring to the formula sheet. So the general formula for a circle, we go x minus a was 1, so it's x minus 1 squared plus y was minus 3, so b was minus, it says y equals y minus b, so that would be y minus minus 3, so it must be a plus 3, is equal to r squared, so is equal to 3 squared, which is 9. So this is the equation of a circle with centre at 1 and negative 3, and with a radius of the square root of 9, which is equal to 3. So in this case, if we're given this particular equation, we can then recognise that it is a circle because it fits into the formula x minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equal to r squared. And then we can describe exactly what that circle is going to look like. There are only 2 features to a circle. First of all, the centre. The centre should be at a, b. So if we just refer, minus a is plus 2, so a would be minus 2. Minus b is minus 5, so b would be at 5. So the centre is at negative 2, 5, and the radius is the square root of 25, so the radius would be 5. Sometimes the equation for a circle is given an expanded form, and what we have to be able to do is to get it back into its form with the bracket. So we want to get it into something like x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals to some kind of constant, which is going to be r squared. So what happens is we have to change our expression, so x squared minus 6x somehow has to become into a single bracket, and this single bracket is called a perfect square. So to be able to do this we have to complete the square. Let's have a little bit of revision of working out how to complete the square. If x minus a squared, that's a perfect square, if we expand that out, we've got x minus a times x minus a, and that's going to give us x squared minus ax minus xa plus a squared. And so if we simplify that, whenever we have a perfect square we have x squared minus 2ax plus a squared. So the first number is a square number, the last number is a square number, and the second number is twice the product of the square root of x squared and the square root of a squared. So let's start off with this example here. So x squared minus 6x is the beginning of this perfect square, x squared minus 6x. We now need to see what we would add on to the end to make it into a perfect square. So minus 6x, this middle term, is the same as minus 2ax. So if we divide it out, we're trying to find out what a is. So we divide by negative 2, so negative 6x equals negative 2ax. So divide both sides by negative 2, or negative 2x, and that's now going to give us 3. 2a and x, and the negatives go away, so a is equal to 3. If a is equal to 3, that is the number that we need on the end of it, squared, to give us our last term of ax squared. So what we need to do now is we need to add on a 3 squared to make this into a perfect square. Just recapping, the first part of our expression was x squared minus 6x. We now need to add on another 9 to make it into a perfect square. And the perfect square that comes out from that would be x minus 3 squared. As we said beforehand, we worked out that a was 3. For the second part of the expression, we had y squared plus 8y. We need to work out what to add on to the end of that to make it into a perfect square. So let's now compare that. X squared or y squared. 8y is equivalent to 2ax, so ay. So a is equal to 4. So if we're going to add on to the end of the expression, we're going to add 4 squared onto the end of it. So our final expression would be y squared plus 8y, and we want to add another 16 on top of it.